Hello and welcome back to the Barrett channel for a brand new video. We are currently in
Gloucestershire
at
the
Forest of Dean, which is a sort of, we've come away for a little getaway with the family for a long weekend, and there will be a couple of videos on the channel in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eye out for them, as there were quite good sort of adventurous videos around this sort of getaway place.
Yeah.
What are we going to be chatting about today, mate?
Well, we're going to be talking about some of the differences we've noticed about coming back to the UK after not being here for almost 3 years, and just some of the observations. But before that, we got back.
Come on,
What did we get? What did we catch within a very short time of us being back?
Yeah, I went to a sort of event, a little day festival when I got back, just a few days after I got back really. And you know, the next day I was feeling not so well, so I took a test that morning and I was positive with COVID.
And a few days later I tested positive with COVID, and so did my dad. But luckily I was I had a fever for about 2 days, like hot and cold, and then I had a bit of a sore throat and that. But it hardly touched my dad, and Mum didn't get it at all, which was quite amazing really, considering she was in the same house.
Very. I mean, they're both over 80, so we were quite concerned about that, but thankfully they were okay, and it seems that I got hit the worst.
Yeah, they have been vaccinated though, so obviously that helps. But yeah, we got COVID, and it's just amazing that, not amazing, but it's just incredibly different here, how COVID's sort of perceived compared to when we were in China. Like literally here, I've wore a mask once or twice when I've been out, and it's like I'm the weird one for wearing a mask, and I find that bizarre, you know, because literally you probably see 1 in 500 people with a mask on here.
Well, at the same time, I mean, I'm younger, so I might have a bit of a different perspective, but to me it's been really nice to come back and have the freedom to not have to get tested every couple of days. I know that, you know, different countries have different rules and stuff, and I'm all willing to sort of do what you have to do and follow the rules of that country, but it also has been nice to not really have to worry about it.
Yeah, I must say it is nice not having that thing that you've got to go to a testing station every like 48 hours or 72 hours, and every time you enter somewhere you've got to show a code or something like that. Yeah,
and on top of that, sort of the looming prospect of lockdowns and things. But anyway, that's our little COVID story.
Yeah.
Some of you might be quite surprised to hear that we caught it literally a few days after coming back, when we've avoided it for 3 years in China.
Yeah. Right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is how much the prices of things seem to have gone up since I was last here. You know, we went to McDonald's and there was 3 of us, and it was like I got £20 out and it weren't enough, and it was like, and then you look at, like, went to the supermarket, everything's at least 20 to 30% more expensive than when I was here 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, as a typical Brit, I would sort of price the economy on the price for a pint of beer. And that has gone up significantly since I was last here. It's now over £5 a pint, about 45 RMB for you Chinese people watching, which is sort of a lot compared to when we were last here.
And although it's fell back slightly, the cost of fuel hit like £2 a litre. It's fell back slightly now, but £2 a litre for diesel. That's just like, last time I was here it was about £1.15 to £1.20. And that's a significant increase as well. I just, you know, even going out to eat food, you know, I took Andy and Emily out, my daughter and son-in-law, and we just had like a breakfast, 3 of us, and it was almost £50. You know, it's just so much more less accessible here to eat out in restaurants.
Yeah.
Unless you've got plenty of money, obviously.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, to be honest, the whole 3 years we were living in China, I didn't really notice prices going up. Now that might be because I was living there and things go up gradually, or it may just be that there hasn't really been that much inflation there, which is probably more accurate.
Yeah, I think inflation is pretty low in China. I mean, the UK is running at about 9%, in China it's about 1.5%, so obviously that makes a massive difference. But, you know, compounded with what's going on the Russia-Ukraine thing here, that's really put a spike on price, especially energy prices for people. They're like through the roof, like gas and electricity. That's something that's very different in China because the pricing is controlled by the government, whereas here it's all controlled by private companies. So, you know, there's a big thing there. And then the other thing that like threw me when I got here, like my mum and dad live like probably about 10 miles out of a city centre. I'm at their house and I'm like trying to upload things, and the speed is absolutely terrible. I'm sort of round areas, I'm getting places on my phone where I've got no network coverage at all.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really experience that too much when we were living in mainland China. However, I'm sure the coverage in somewhere like London is pretty good, and we did spend most of our time in a Chinese city, so of course it's going to be very good. But yeah, we were quite surprised to go into a supermarket and see there was no signal or network on our phone. We actually thought there was a problem with our phones.
Yeah, we've been to many places in China. We've never really had a major issue with like getting network coverage. You know, if it's not 5G, it's 4G. But it seems here 5G only appears to be in like the city centres.
Yeah.
And slightly out of there, you're lucky to get a slow 4G connection.
That's right.
And also the cost of data here is like, it's just way more expensive than in China.
But to be honest, I am really enjoying being back here. We've kind of slapped a few negatives at the start of the video, really, but it's been really nice to come back and see family and friends.
Absolutely.
And there are a few things that I've really missed about living here. You know, particularly for me, you just can't beat like a British summer. Like when it's like over 25 degrees, everyone's in the best mood because we don't get too much hot weather, and you go out and you sit in a beer garden and sort of day drink with your friends and chat and eat some good food. And like I've really missed doing that whilst being in China.
One of the things for me really is being able to eat some of the foods. Like we have a lot of like dessert kind of products which are difficult to get in China. So like, you know, last night we had apple pie with fresh double cream.
Yeah.
That's not easy to get in China because one, apple pie is not easy to get if you don't make it yourself, and fresh double cream is almost like non-existent. You know, the best is like Anchor Long Life, and it just ain't the same. You know, to have that sort of food that you've grown up with and you long for, it's nice just to be able to buy it. You know, things like, I don't know, rice pudding and all those kind of comfort foods and that. It is really, really nice. And something else that's very different here is because of the way the UK is, where everything is much more spaced out and the population density is much less, you really, really need a car. It's like almost impossible. Like we've come here this weekend, and without having our own car, it would be almost impossible to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had to buy one when I came back because there was really no other option to go around the UK and see family.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, unless you live bang in the middle of like London or Birmingham or something, you really, really need a car. One of the things I've noticed since moving back, which is really nice, is this, like now it's like we hear there are other people around, but it's so peaceful and quiet.
Yeah.
Like in China, living in Shenzhen, it's very difficult to find a place that's quiet. You know, you can almost never walk outside and not see anybody else. Like where my mum and dad live, and even here, you can walk out and you can be out for half an hour and not see anybody else.
Yeah, to be fair.
That's something that you just really find difficult in Chinese cities.
Yeah, actually, like the last probably 4 weeks I was living in Shenzhen, at like 7:30 a.m. every morning they had the jackhammer right outside my window knocking down a building, and it was really, you know, I was really struggling to sleep in the mornings, and you know, I won't miss that kind of thing happening, because you know that kind of thing happens fairly often when you live in a city with 14 million people.
That's right. Yeah, it's been absolutely lovely to come back and just spend some like relaxation time with the family and see everybody again. Me see my granddaughter for the first time. I spent a bit of time at my daughter's house. Spent a bit more catching up with some friends. And it's really been nice. You know, after three years, it's quite a long time not to see people, and that's really down to the strict policies of China. You know,
Yeah.
it's easy to come out. It's very, very difficult to get back in, but you know, at some point you've got to make that decision that you want to see your family. You know, that your parents are getting older. I hadn't seen my granddaughter, so yeah, it was, I think, the right time to do it.
But anyway, yeah, we're in this Forest of Dean holidays area, and there'll be some videos in the not so distant future coming your way of this trip, and I urge you to watch those when they come out. And hopefully you did like this one, sort of bit of an update on us coming back to the UK. I think it's the first ever walk and talk video in our homeland, so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. For now,
Take care.